Is this thing working? How you doing, Denise?
Awesome. I'm doing awesome this morning on Tuesday.
Awesome.
April 30th, 2024.
Yep.
We're excited to be here with you today. We love what we do.
Yep. We do. Hey, and today also want to tell you something else. We need to welcome our newest sponsor to Is This Thing Working? We're excited to have EventBRITE as a new partner with us on Is This Thing Working?
Yes, and you can find your next event locally or for vacation-wise. I'm going to go through their website for just a moment here, and you can find events. You can create events. You can find tickets, and you can contact an event organizer to help you organize events. They have music, nightlife, performing arts, holidays, health, hobby, business, food and drink. And I also noticed that you can even stay home and, buy tickets for events online. So please welcome our sponsor, EventBRITE, and you can go to eventbrite.com or click on the link below in the comments.
Yep. And to say this, we've used them before. We've bought concert tickets, and even back during the pandemic, we bought some Ray Wiley Hubbard tickets because of the pandemic and how weird and all that was. His event got canceled. The day of the cancellation, my money was immediately refunded to me, and to me, that made a big deal.
There you go. EventBRITE. We love them. So please click on the link below and let us know what you think about them. Well, welcome to the show, everyone.
Yeah, before we start the show today, we want to state these are our opinions and our assertions. If you agree with us, tell your friends, share the show. Also, stomp that like button and please follow or subscribe wherever you see the name, Is This Thing Working? You help Denise and me further our reach when you share our show, and we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. Our following is growing each and every day. Our Getter crowd is amazing.
Yes, Getter. We got a shout out to Getter because Getter is our #1 live view stream, and we love it. We love you, and we thank you very much. Also, download the Rumble app and get the Getter app and follow us on Getter. You'll be able to find us under Delia and James. So you just look for us and type in Is This Thing Working, and you'll go straight to us. Also, we have a live stream every day, Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. Here we go. Big show for you today.
Well, let's get started with the biggest news of the day, which is the shooting that happened at Charlotte, North Carolina yesterday.
4 law enforcement officers were killed and others wounded during a standoff. It's really sad. I would like everyone to take a moment today and pray for the families of officers that lost their lives. But a little bit of news about it. They were killed and several others were wounded after being shot at a residence in Charlotte, North Carolina on Monday, police said. At a news conference, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Chief Johnny Jennings confirmed the 3 fatalities of U.S. Marshals, Fugitive Task Force members, and said 8 law enforcement officers in total were shot. One Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officer was in critical condition in the hospital, fighting for his life, and on Monday evening, the department announced that he had succumbed to his injuries. I did hear this morning on the news that one other person, so I do believe it's up to 5, that has lost their lives.
Yeah, CMPD News in a tweet said Officer Joshua Iyer has passed away tonight from his injuries after being shot in the line of duty this afternoon while assisting other officers with the apprehension of a suspect. Officer Iyer faithfully served the CMPD's North Tyrone Division for 6 years.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. Pray for his family.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And here's the story, the backstory to this, that officers in the task force in the city were conducting an investigation in the 5,000 block of Galway Drive in East Charlotte when 2 suspects fired on them about 1:30 p.m., the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department said. The officers were trying to serve a warrant for possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. When they approached that individual, they were met with gunfire, Jennings said. Officers returned fire and struck the suspect, who was later pronounced dead in the front yard of the home.
The police chief added that when officers approached the first suspect, they were fired upon from inside the residence. After a long standoff, we were able to clear this residence and confirm that there were 2 additional people inside, he added, saying both of them were brought to the police station as people of interest. He did not state whether they were individuals who fired shots at the police officers from inside. So anyway, we wanted to bring this story to you because
Yeah.
it's really, really important that we support our police officers, especially in this just horrible time right now. Officer Joshua Iyer, end of watch, April 29, 2024.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on.
Let's keep going.
President Trump, today is back in court again. Trump New York City hush money trial to resume with banker's testimony. Before court this morning, we also heard that he has been found guilty for violating the gag order that this Judge Mershon
Was it 9 counts?
9 counts. This Judge Mershon had put forth. Everyone's up in an uproar about this gag order, and President Trump, obviously, he's going to do it anyway.
I gotta say this, President Trump, you've kind of let me down, man. Only 9 times.
Only 9.
Man, I really. We'll start a GoFundMe account to help you cover these calls, man. Just come on and say what you got to say, man. Don't let them silence you at all. We got your back, man.
A lot of it is he shares like an article, and he, maybe there's something in there about one thing about Bragg or something, and then all of a sudden he's getting, that's how much they are watching every single thing he does.
Exactly.
And it's amazing. Y'all just keep an eye out on President Trump. He keeps his name in the press on purpose, So it is an election year, and they are interfering with an election. So he's got to do what he has to do to win this election because we need him back in the office, and this is why.
Yeah. I think by what he's doing, continuing to ignore the gag order, basically, and continuing to do as much campaigning as he possibly can, I think that exposes the tyranny and the bullshit of this court way more than it would if he had just sat back and sat silent and went, I'm just going to respect the court because, you know what I mean? And
they're not respecting him.
Exactly. He ain't
he has a right to defend himself.
Yeah, and he's not going to capitulate. I love this,
I
man.
do.
Yeah.
I do too. And the people love it too. They love that he's fighting back because they see what's going on. We all know what's happening with this Alvin Bragg case. I mean, the leadership in the Republican House came out this morning saying exactly what everyone else has been saying. This is a witch hunt. A pure and simple witch hunt. And, we have a video that we want to play you of another person that is after. She's got this big
yeah, if you want to
TDS.
if you want to talk about witch hunt, she's probably one of the ringleaders of the witch hunt.
And
has been for a while. And we're talking about Nancy Pelosi. She was on MSNBC with Katie Tour yesterday, and the whole conversation kind of got interesting there for a little bit. So, yeah, like Denise said, let's check it out. Here we go.
This is really, if this court doesn't rule in the right way, we have real concerns about our democracy and the 3 branches of government. And we have to take a look at term limits for the courts or something, but that's neither here nor there. Right now, it isn't what Bill Barr's interpretation is, if he thought he heard it or didn't hear it. What it's important is what Donald Trump has said. Donald Trump is a great threat to our democracy. What is a democracy? What are the pillars? What are the pillars? A free and independent press to tell the story of what's going on, to keep everybody informed of what people are saying and doing. That transparency is essential. An independent judiciary. An independent judiciary, when they're practically threatening on TV exposure of jurors in a trial of the president or any trial, and any of that. What is an independent judiciary? It's about free and fair elections, and what do they do but suppress the vote? So there's nothing in his performance, if that's the word we'll use, what he has done, that would indicate that he cares, prioritizes, or ever valued or did anything to support a democracy. And now on the ballot saying he should have immunity from whatever he might do. Really, I have sympathy and respect for everybody who votes. I'm glad people vote. I know some of them will always reject those of us who might look different to them in leadership or the rest, and that's that. But there are those who have real legitimate concerns about immigration, globalization, innovation, and what does that mean for their job and their family's future? And we have to address those concerns. And Joe Biden is doing that, created 9 million jobs in his term in office. Donald Trump has the worst record of job loss of any president. So we just have to make sure people know.
That was a global pandemic.
He had the worst record of any president. We've had other concerns in our country. If you want to be an apologist for Donald Trump, that may be your role, but it ain't mine. And he has the worst. I don't think that anybody can accuse me of that. But let me just say, as a Speaker of the House, we put forth a $3 trillion bill. $3 trillion of investment in communities and the rest, and that stimulates the economy.
I just want to ask one more question. This one's on.
Amazing.
Is she a moron?
Oh my gosh. And then she wants to turn to the amount of money they're spending, and like we care.
Listen to everything she just said. If you really listen to each and everything that she said,
and you break it down,
yeah,
it's amazing to me. Look what she says here. I'm just going to read. She starts out with her rhetoric, and I'm going to call it rhetoric, because nothing she says really tells you why she hates Donald Trump so much, except for the fact that Donald Trump is a great threat to our democracy.
Again, just a narrative.
Just a narrative. Our democracy. That means the Democrats, you know, the Democrats, period.
Well, like you said, no explanation. Just spit this out here.
And what are the pillars, she says? She says that twice.
Yeah.
Because you better be paying attention, she says. A free and independent press to tell the story.
Not the truth, but
Not
the story.
Truth. Exactly. Not the truth, but the story. To keep everyone informed of what people are saying and doing. So in other words, to tattletale on you.
Well,
if you do tell the truth. I mean, and she's talking about transparency is essential.
Exactly.
That's bull crap.
Yeah. There's been no transparency.
No transparency.
Independent judiciary. An independent judiciary, when they're practically threatening on TV exposure of jurors in the trial of the president or any trial and any of that. What is an independent judiciary about? It's about free and fair elections. And what do? But suppress the vote. Listen to everything that she just talked about and look at the past 3 years. Everything that she mentions right here is everything that this administration has done.
Yes. You know, we do not have free and fair elections in America right now because of the Democrat Party. And what do we do? We suppress the vote? No, you suppress the vote by ballot harvesting people that are dead, people that are illegals, and by making up Donald Duck names and anything else that you can come up with. So you're suppressing my vote by cheating and voting when there's no one there to vote.
And remember the Tucker Carlson video from just last week that shows that 1 in 5 mail-in ballots were fraudulent.
Yes.
That's 20%.
People were out there voting for states they don't live in.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I don't understand
tell me we
how
have
that
free
happens.
and fair elections.
We don't.
We don't
have free and fair elections.
When 1 in 5 mail-in ballots are fraudulent, you don't have a free and fair election. If 5% of those ballots are fraudulent and you accept those votes anyway, we don't have a free and fair election.
Yeah, but the thing they keep saying is it's not widespread. But that's false. It was a very widespread.
Yep.
Everyone knows that.
We know.
And then she goes on to say down here, now President Trump is on the ballot saying he should have immunity from whatever he might do. Well, what about Biden? Does Biden have immunity from whatever he might do?
What about her immunity?
Exactly. Because I'm pretty sure she's been...
well, she has been doing some insider stock trading, and we all know that. That's evident. But did she ever face any... No. So...
But she should.
Yeah, she's bullshit.
She's
bullshit.
That.
She's a moron. They're all morons, and they're nothing but the true danger to our country, to our republic.
Yes,
because that's what we live in. I don't live in a democracy.
No,
I have not lived in a democracy. I'm 58 years old, and I've lived my entire life in this country. And guess what, Miss Pelosi? I've never lived in a democracy.
Yeah. Well, another thing she goes on to say, everyone, you know, the thing that the soundbite has gone all over, has gone viral, and that is Joe Biden creating 9 million jobs in his terms in office, and Donald Trump has the worst record of job loss of a president. So we just have to make sure people know. Now, she's trying to tell Ms. Tur here that you need to make people know that this is where we're going to talk about Donald Trump has a worse record of loss. But Ms. Tur shot back and she said that was a global pandemic. You can't blame President Trump for a global pandemic, and she knows it.
And Nancy's head about blew off right then.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, if you get a chance to watch the video, watch it and look at her expression when Katie says that to her. Look at her expression. It reminded me of when you backtalked your mother and all of a sudden she got that look on her face like she could reach across there and smack you for it.
That
is exactly the look she had. And she was caught off guard because the moment that Katie said it, Pelosi's eyes shifted left and right, and then she come at her hard. It was hilarious.
We'll see if Miss Tur has her job later on, because, Pelosi has that kind of power. And Pelosi goes on and reiterates, he had the worst record of any president. We've had other concerns in our country. If you want to be an apologist for Donald Trump, that may be your role, but it ain't mine.
And to give Katie credit, she smiled at her and she goes, I don't think anybody can accuse me of that.
So good for her.
Finally, somebody challenged Pelosi. Finally, somebody on the left did challenge them. Like you said, I wonder if they'll have a job here in a couple of weeks.
I know. They'll find something on her. Bless her heart. But see, this is all part of the Trump derangement syndrome. They want you to not remember how life was under Donald Trump. Now, I know for a fact that we made more money under Donald Trump, and you made more money under Donald Trump. And it doesn't matter if you are white, brown, yellow, purple. Everyone made money under Donald Trump, and they can't stand it.
Even if you work at a minimum wage job throughout the entire Donald Trump presidency, and you're still working that minimum wage job now, and you've done that throughout the entire Biden administration, you need nothing else to prove to you other than walking into a grocery store, going to fill your car up, paying your light bill, the things that matter. If you're honest with me, with you, with yourself, with everybody else out there, an average of over $3 a gallon on gasoline now as compared to less than $2 during a Trump presidency, you can't say anything different.
No, you can't. And they want you to forget.
But
the people know
the truth.
Because the number one issue for the American people right now is the economy. And the Biden economy is not working. And it's not working on purpose. They did this on purpose to you because you made money.
They did this on purpose because they want to take over the country.
Well, that's true, too.
That's exactly what happened.
I totally believe that these people who continue to go after conservatives and anybody who tried their hardest to put out the 2020 election wasn't free and fair.
Exactly.
They get hauled into court. They get, lawfared, arrested. Just like, for example, this Chris Mays in Arizona, this attorney general wants to come out and with a lot of lies in her statement announcing the unprecedented arrest of leaders of her political opposition for non-crimes last week. She said she was elected to uphold the law, which is wrong and wrong. She said the 2020 election was free and fair, which was also wrong. And nothing says I will not allow American democracy to be undermined than by arresting the political opposition's top election integrity lawyer in the middle of a presidential election. But one thing Mays said is correct. Justice demands an answer to the efforts to undermine the will of Arizona voters during the 2020 presidential election. It was just her side who was doing the undermining. And that's true.
Yeah.
They are the ones that suppress the vote. This is an example of what Nancy Pelosi wants you to forget.
And if you can't remember 2020, you can remember 2022 because that was a big fiasco in Arizona too with the Kerry Lake governor race.
Yes.
So,
and the attorney general race is still in court. She only won by 200 votes, and there are 9,000 votes that have not been brought up and have not been counted.
Which is exactly why Liz said that in her statement, that she said she was elected to uphold the law. That's why Liz said wrong and wrong. You weren't really elected, and we all know that, and you're not upholding the law, and we all know that.
That's exactly right. And May's claims having contingent electors in the case, the courts did the right thing and actually heard the evidence of election fraud, like the alternate electors who were successful in 1960. They're calling this a criminal scheme when it's done every single presidential election. There are alternate electors, and that's what they're called, on purpose.
They're not illegal. They're there.
The scheme, Liz goes on to say, had it succeeded, would have deprived Arizona voters of the right to their votes continued for their chosen president, May said. It effectively would have made their right to vote meaningless. Kind of like everybody else's right to vote that got totally thrown away. Whose votes are them 9,000? Whose are those? To me, that's suppression of vote by not counting them 9,000 ballots.
Exactly.
I mean, we don't know whose side they're on. We don't know if it's Democrat or if it's Republican.
The moment they register a dead person to vote, that suppresses your vote because that washes your vote.
Does immediately. I believe Arizona should just stand up and be out there protesting this. Every single person in Arizona needs to stand up.
At the courthouse.
At the courthouse.
At the state capitol.
Yes.
I'm serious, man.
But they've made them so afraid for conservatives to actually stand up and use their voice. This is why. This is why they continue this lawfare and making sure you can't get an attorney to help you out. It's total election interference. One more thing just to, mess with you. Well, I'm telling you, it's going to backfire. This is flag it. It's going to backfire 100% come November 5th. President Trump will win Arizona, and he will win it in such a huge fashion that you won't be able to cheat.
Well, just like what we heard Bongino say yesterday, we all know these elections weren't free, they weren't fair, but that doesn't mean don't go vote. Because if we don't go vote,
then they've won.
That's only and like he said, voting is only a part of this process, and I understand just the same as him, and I kept saying this while I was listening to his show yesterday, that a lot of the people don't go vote because what's the cycle that you see? Election cycle after election cycle after election cycle. You see promises, you go vote, nothing happens. Promises, you go vote, nothing happens. People don't give up. We got to do our part in the battle to win this. And if we don't go vote, then our voices truly aren't being heard.
Well, I want to give you an example of why it's important to vote. And we have been working for years, and I would say at least 8 years, to get common sense conservatives into office to get forth our priorities. Okay, so if it started out last cycle, President Trump had, in 2020, 54 Make America Great Again candidates won. Well, I'll tell you what, this last time when they did that big bill, there was only 54 people that voted against it. Guess what? We had 112 Make America Great Again people who voted against the bills. So we are working. It is working. We are slowly but surely getting in there. We're fighting every single time, every single way we can, because they come against MAGA candidates like no tomorrow. And you know why? Because we're taking them down. Once we get in there and we get enough people to override, and we're there, it's like halfway, 50-50.
Yep.
All we need is 3 or 4 more, and we got it.
Yep.
So please get out there and vote.
It is that, like I said, that's how our voices are heard. We're not saying go out and shut down the voices of opposition. Let the voices of opposition stay out there. The key to this is, just like with the voting numbers, we have to be louder. We have to be heard. The total number of votes that we can get in these elections is our voice. Is our voice being heard? Let them go protest. Let them go do the things they want to do, but be louder. Be on the offensive. Don't stand back and allow them to scream and holler and sit here and do nothing. We got to go on the offensive with this. One of the ways we see people going on the offensive, and even in the press, and even with our law enforcement, and even with people in our community, you got to be louder and you got to be proactive. You got to take action.
For example, all the protesting that's going on all over the country right now at the colleges.
Yes.
It's getting out of control.
That's where I was leading with this.
It's getting totally out of control. We woke up this morning to people just, at Columbia, what were they doing? They went into Hamilton Hall and blockaded themselves inside. They broke windows. They took a janitor as a hostage even. So I don't know why the cops didn't go in and arrest them for that, because that is against the law. Actually, every bit of it's against the law. In America, free speech is the number one, the backbone
of our republic. Yeah.
Republic, exactly. So, but when you cross that line and you break a law, then it is not free speech any longer. It is a riot, and it is criminal. When you take a person and you kidnap them
inside Hamilton Hall.
Oh my gosh, where are the cops? But the governor came out and said she's not going to do anything about it. But here in Texas,
we don't play.
We don't play around.
Don't mess with Texas. And I'm going to say this right here. Gateway Pundit's writer Jim Holt, in my opinion, he wins headline of the year. Good Lord, he might even win headline of the century here. Here's the title of his, here's his headline from this Gateway Pundit article. Hope for America. Texas cops go to work in Austin. Dirty booger-haired leftists scooped up, zip-tied, and hauled off like baby calves at UT campus. That's hilarious.
That is so funny. There's a picture, too, so that kind of makes it even funnier.
Dirty booger-haired leftists. That's my new moniker for all of you.
And Jim Hofty goes on to say, make America Texas again. Yes, sir. Please do that. I'm ready because, we see way less of that crap here, but Texas isn't going to let this happen.
Yep. Make America Texas again. Austin police today took down the impromptu pro-Hamas hippie encampment on the University of Texas campus this afternoon. And there was a lot of screaming by the dirty leftists. Booger-haired girl got carried off by no-nonsense police. 0 Hour has been, man, we've been looking this, and they posted some of his tweets on here. He's hilarious, man. He said, dirty hippie airlines, you fly for free at Taliban day camp. We even deliver.
And he's got videos.
Yes, it's hilarious.
If you're not on X right now, it's really X and Getter. We pushed Getter too, but X has a lot of.
Go follow 0 Hour.
Go follow 0 Hour. He's really funny.
Yep. Here we go.
Funny.
The pepper spray was flying. Here's another one. He said they're getting the hot pepper sauce for dinner at Austin, Texas.
And then someone else, a Peter Hawley on X says student protesters at UT Austin are being hit with pepper spray as they attempt to push police and state troopers off campus.
Dude got a facial.
This is funny.
Hilarious, man.
They had didn't they say they had their communist medics out in force? Yeah. Yeah,
the tweet says LMAO. They got exhausted just standing for a day.
And there's a video. There's a video of the medic over there with the arm around someone that looks like they're like a little hot. It's 80 degrees in Austin, Texas today, and you're out there protesting.
Yeah, you people
with a mask on.
Yeah, you people are morons. Is this thing working?
Rise up.
Well, hey, everybody, that's it for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope you've enjoyed the show. Hope you've learned some things about what's going on around us in the nation and in your communities. We couldn't do this without your continued support either. We appreciate all of you showing up, taking the time to listen to us today. So please, like I say, make sure to hit the like button, share our show with all your friends. We'll see you next time on Is This Thing Working? And as always, I'm James, and that's my lovely co-host over there,
Denise.
And we'll see you next time.
We're out.